You are listening to C-Suite Perspectives, a podcast by the Conference Board.
Welcome to C-Suite Perspectives, a signature series by the Conference Board. I'm David Young, the President of the Committee for Economic Development, the Public Policy Center of the Conference Board, and guest host of today's episode. In today's conversation, we'll discuss leadership in challenging times, where we feature the outstanding CEOs who are the recipients of CED's Distinguished Leadership Awards for Corporate Citizenship and Business Stewardship. Today, I have the distinct privilege of speaking with one of our 2025 honorees, Jay Chaudhry. Jay is the CEO, chairman, and the founder of Zscaler, the leader in cloud security. Under Jay's leadership, Zscaler is committed to teamwork, open communication, passion, innovation, and customer obsession. And just how they do all of that is what we'll be discussing today. Jay, welcome. We are so pleased to have you joining us.
David, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Privilege. So Jay, you have a remarkable life story. I've read up over the last few weeks about your life. And not only do you have a remarkable life story, you are an industry innovator and entrepreneur. And along the way, you founded several security software startups. I'd be so curious for you to share just more about your journey. Tell us about your life, your career, how you ended up where you are now. Did you ever think this is where you would be at this stage in life? And what are some of the core values that are key to being a successful leader?
David, yes, coming from where I was born and raised to where I am today, often I wonder if my life is real or I'm simply dreaming. Okay. I never thought of entrepreneurship till I came to the US. I probably didn't even know what entrepreneurship was. But I think I am here because of a combination of luck, hard work, great teams, and great mentors, and perhaps great timing. You bring all those things together, the magic happens, and this magic happens more in America than any other country. You can do all kinds of wonders in America, so I'm very thankful to America. So giving a little bit more, you asked me the journey. Short version, I was born and raised in a tiny village in the foothills of the Himalayas in northern India. Small town, no roads. The elementary school was about 4 kilometers away. We got electricity after I finished my 8th grade, running water after I finished my 10th grade. And I recall my sister and I will fight who's going to clean the kerosene lamp that we used to study. But I was a good student. My parents encouraged me to study hard because they never got a chance to go to school. So as a good student, India had a great education system, almost free of charge. I got into IITs. Then I realized, wow, this world is very different than my little village. And with hard work, I did well and came to the US to do my master's like many other students, and then got hired by multiple companies, one after another. And that's what took me to the next level. So very fortunate about the journey, and I'm thankful to all the companies and all the mentors who helped me along the way.
And Jay, some of the core values that when you reflect back on your time, some of the core values that you think have been important and central to kind of defining you as a person and as a leader, what stands out when you reflect on that?
So 3 things I learned from my parents who were small-scale farmers: honesty, integrity, and hard work. Those have been the core principles for me, my family, and I worked hard to make sure they get imparted to my kids as well.
Incredible. So Jay, Zscaler is really raising the bar for a strong defense against sophisticated cyber threats, while also delivering greater efficiency to your clients. When you look at this, the environment we're now working in and living in, how have cyber threats evolved and how are they impacting businesses today? And from your unique perspective, how do you think businesses can improve the efficiency of their cybersecurity, other than working more closely with Zscaler?
Sure. So first of all, when I started Zscaler, my notion was pretty simple. More and more applications will move to the cloud. More and more users will become mobile. If that's the online world we live in, the bad guys will go where the action is. They want to get rich without working hard. So it's natural to see that more and more online threats will happen. It's right. So our goal was to make sure we can help business that's done digitally, that's done online. That's what a simple premise. And today, everything has shifted online, essentially. A recent survey of CEOs said that 74% of CEOs view cyber risk as the #1 business risk. And that's why we all have to worry about it. We are seeing too many ransomware attacks, too many phishing attacks that are bringing businesses down. So for me, Zscaler is not even just a business. It has become mission, because some 45% of Fortune 500 companies, they depend upon Zscaler to keep them safe. So it's a challenge. It's a race with bad guys. And we are very competitive. We want to win that race. So Zscaler customers are actually, in my view, safer than customers who aren't embracing us. And that's because we brought a new zero trust architecture. The other vendors have this old architecture. It's called castle and moat, built using firewalls and VPNs. That's a 30-year-old technology. I like to say, before cannons and aircrafts were invented, the moats around the castles were great. But now that's useless. That's why enterprises who are embracing zero trust architecture, where you trust no one, you basically connect a person to a specific application, period. And that's the technology, that's the architecture we pioneered. And we are proud to drive innovations to keep not only businesses safe, to keep countries safe. The future wars will be all dependent upon cyber technologies and cyber innovations alike, and we are busy innovating.
Interesting. Jay, we'll come to what you've just mentioned, the zero trust architecture in a moment, but I want to pick up on the statistic that you just gave. 74% of CEOs think and realize that cybersecurity and cyber risk is a major issue. Do you think there is realization amongst the CEOs that you're interacting with of the severity of cyber risks today, or it's just this word and this terminology that just keeps floating around there?
So if you compare today versus 5 years ago, there's a day and night difference in CEOs recognizing how critical cybersecurity is. And that's equally true for board of directors as well. What's not clear to many CEOs and many board of directors, what could be done for better cyber protection. That's the message we're trying to get out there. You know, I was asked by the board of directors of a very large bank out of Asia. And I was presenting the board, and this board member said, Jay, you're sitting in Silicon Valley, running one of the largest cloud security companies, and you're dealing with some of the largest companies who have all the money, all the know-how, and access to the best technologies. And I still read in papers how many of these large companies are getting breached. If that's happening to them, what hope do I have? Wow, I never thought of a question like this. It took me about 20 seconds to think through. My answer was, what she said was true. But the issue is not access to technology or money. The issue is inertia. Hackers have no inertia. Larger the corporation, the bigger the inertia. I think we need to adapt our large enterprises more quickly to the evolving threats and technology. And that's one of the big things we are trying to do.
Jay, you mentioned earlier the zero trust architecture and Zscaler's zero trust exchange cloud security platform. has, I believe, more than 500 billion daily transactions, more than 500 billion. I was thinking about this earlier, just trying to wrap my mind around this. And we've been kind of talking around the role and impact of AI, but an AI playing a larger and larger role in the processing of that data and more than 500 billion daily transactions. How do you think artificial intelligence is affecting business and society at large? And can you tell us a little bit more about Zscaler's approach to AI, and what are some of the important considerations around its use?
So AI is very powerful, but AI is very dangerous at the same time. These tools, when put in the hands of bad guys, can do some very bad stuff. For example, you can ask a simple question to ChatGPT or Gemini and say, tell me all the firewalls and VPNs with certain vulnerabilities for a given company. It would have taken weeks for someone to collect this information. Now you can get it in under a minute. So AI makes things dangerous. But AI can be used very well for companies like Zscaler to do better protection. For example, 500 billion communication logs that we collect. This is all communication logs, good logs and bad logs, even the reconnaissance type of activity that bad guys do, they're captured in these logs. It is very hard to take that volume of data to find meaningful information out of it. Now, using AI technology, combination of machine learning and Gen AI, we can parse through them and we can do some very cool stuff. For example, my favorite new project is breach prediction. Imagine being able to predict that based on the information and communication we see, this company has 70% chance of getting breached. If we can tell our customers and why it's likely to happen, they can take steps proactively, stop it. My dream is to get to a world where there are no breaches when customers work with Zscaler. And we are making progress in the area, and AI is playing an important role in this area. And AI is only as good as the data. And we have the best data in terms of volume and in terms of the quality of data. And that's why I'm so excited about helping our customers with this new AI technology.
A world, as you say, Jay, a world with no breaches when you work with Zscaler. We're going to be right back after we take a short break with more of my conversation today with Jay Chaudhry.
What does the future of work mean for your employees? How will your company navigate ESG? Will there be a global recession? At the Conference Board, our experts translate the latest research and economic analysis into insights and real-time problem solving for your organization. Membership at the Conference Board provides your team with an assortment of knowledge, from economics, marketing and communications, ESG, public policy, and human capital. As a member, you'll have access to our center experts, member-exclusive events, data and benchmarking tools, and peer sharing that will help you understand the present and shape the future. Consider becoming a Conference Board member today by visiting www.conference-board.org.
Welcome back to C-Suite Perspectives. I'm your guest host today, David Young, the president of the Committee for Economic Development, the Public Policy Center of the Conference Board. I'm joined today by Jay Chaudhry, the CEO, chairman, and the founder of Zscaler. So Jay, welcome back. Already having a delightful and insightful conversation. Let's talk a little bit about technological advancement and the rapid pace of innovation and how it's impacting some of the organizations and their functions and how they compete and how they deliver. How do you ensure that Zscaler keeps up with the rapidly evolving pace of change, specifically in the area of technology, and how is Zscaler helping other businesses adapt to the rapid change and increasing risks that they are facing on a daily basis?
So David, first of all, we are a technology company. We are born as a technology company. So for us to keep up to speed is relatively easier because our employees actually when they join Zscaler. They know they're dealing with the online world, they're dealing with the cyber world out there. And we attract more of those people who actually like the technology part of it. It's fairly easy for our employees to stay up to date. The bigger challenge is the broad, big enterprises out there. Many of them aren't technology companies. How do we really get them up to speed? For example, some of the very technologically advanced solutions we built. How do we get the message out easily to senior management, to a CFO, and some of the other leaders? How do we link it to the business problems they're solving? Because a large Fortune 500 company is not interested in technology. They're interested in making their business more agile, more competitive, and safer. And technology is a means to get there. So when Zscaler people work with customers, we are showing them what can be done. I'll give you an example. A very large bank in India, the CIO sent me an email, and this was about a very large congregation that takes place in India every 10, 15 years, where about 300 million people go through this place in a matter of 3 weeks. And the email was, "Thank you, Zscaler. We're able to open a mobile bank branch in a day." Okay, that's business agility. If we can help business open a warehouse, a new office in a day so they can be productive safely, securely, that's really the value we drive. We make it easier for customers not to spend a lot of time trying to understand technology. Make it really, really simple. And that's when adoption happens. And that's what we try to do.
Jay, one of the recent evolutions in business is the rise, and this is largely down to COVID and what's come out of the years of the pandemic, is it's the rise of hybrid working. What impact is hybrid work having on business in general, and what are some of the opportunities? And also, on the other side of that same coin, what are some of the risks that need to be considered in this new world of work?
Yeah, like anything in life, you know, the pros and cons of things. I think hybrid has some positive things out there. Now we are able to hire employees in different parts of the world we couldn't hire before. And technologies like video conferencing and access through internet with secure communication over Zscaler has made it very possible. These things can be done. That's goodness. What's the downside, right? We are all social people. We build bonds, we build trust, we learn from each other. So being able to come together to build trust and work as a team, physical association and meetings play a bigger role. We don't need to come together every day, but from time to time, it's a great thing. I think that the biggest challenge is for some of the new college graduates who had never been to an office, trying to work from home. They miss out because we lean forward or we lean on the side, talk to our friends and say, how do you do this? What needs to be done? So I think it's important for a newer generation who are just starting, being able to build bonds and relationships that are so important in the office. So Zscaler has a hybrid environment. We expect our people to be in the office about 3 days a week, and then it's a little flexibility. So I think that that's the best of both worlds, but bringing people together to build teamwork, it's good to physically meet.
There's a great connection, Jay, into my next question for you. As you say, we're social people, we build trust, we build bonds. At Zscaler, you have an obsession with customers, and you have this customer obsession. And I've looked at this and read about it from Zscaler, and I am so kind of in awe of this desire and realization around how important people are, building bonds, building trust. And so one of the core values at Zscaler is customer obsession. And can you elaborate? I've never heard any other organization describe it this way, but what exactly is customer obsession, and how do you embody that at Zscaler, and how do you drive value to your customers through the emphasis of customer obsession?
So first of all, we are a mission critical service. We are like a switchboard. When you need to access any application out there, we're almost like an international airport. We are connecting the right party to right party safely. So the more mission critical you are, the more you want to make sure the service always works. Okay. And we have a role to play, customers have a role to play in making sure it's set up right. And that's why, whether it's a CIO of the company, a chief security officer of the company, they trust us, okay? And we need to make sure we deliver on their trust. And to do that, customer obsession to us means you drop everything to take care of the customer. That's the number one priority for us. And it starts with me. I have had a couple of situations where there were pre-scheduled board meetings for Zscaler, and a CIO of a large corporation gave me a meeting which happened to overlap that board meeting. Okay. What did I do? I left the board meeting to take a customer call, to take care of the customers, and come back to the board meeting. The message I was sending was, customers are even more important than your board meeting. That's how we treat. That's why customers love Zscaler. The biggest proof of that is our Net Promoter Score, which is probably the best way to measure customer happiness, sits somewhere around 80. An average SaaS company sits between 35 to 40 or so. We're proud of it, but also we have this notion at Zscaler, you're never kind of happy and say this is good enough. How do we get better? How do we get better? Incremental improvement is one of the key things we drive for. That's something I personally drive for through. I think that's what helps us get better every day. And we are so proud of it. One of the things I get asked from time to time is the following. I'm flying to Europe. On a Saturday, I get there on Sunday, Monday through Friday, 5 days. I have about 5 or 6 meetings every day. And I'm back on Saturday, and somebody said, you must be dead tired after that. I said, man, I'm on cloud 9 after meeting so many happy customers. When they tell the stories, say, with Zscaler, we're able to simplify this, we are able to secure this. My users are very happy. That's contagious. That makes us happy and proud, and that's what we're building upon.
Jay, you've spoken a little bit and elaborated just now on customer happiness, and we'll continue the conversation around people, but also your employees, your colleagues, the people that are very committed to Zscaler. You've said that empowering your people is at the core of how you deliver and enduring quality. Why do you think a strong company culture and values are so important for business? And what are some of the keys here to nurturing a culture of innovation that can respond rapidly to the fast changing environment that we're living and working in?
Yeah. So first of all, human beings, we all want to feel a sense of accomplishment. We all want to feel good about what we do. We want to feel proud of it. It's many times more important than money. So creating an environment where people can try to figure new things, try to deliver value, and make things happen is a very positive thing. Our success depends upon people who build some of the very, very innovative stuff because they dreamed about it. If you ask me, our engineering team built this Zscaler platform, Zero Trust Exchange platform, that is scaling and scaling like nothing else is scaled. And all that really comes from our engineers innovating, figuring out the new stuff. So giving them freedom and time to do some of the stuff is very important. Once they are happy, the platform is great, our services work well, customers become happy. So it's a cycle of its own. And I have had many customers present to our Zscaler team about what they're excited about Zscaler. It makes us so happy and proud when the customer says, I'm able to reduce my risk by a large percentage. I was able to increase the user experience significantly and I reduce my cost by millions of dollars. Those are very, very good things for all of us to be proud of. This makes our customer happy and this makes our employee very proud and happy as well.
I'm sorry to say that that is all the time we have today with Jay Chaudhry, who is the CEO, chairman, and founder of Zscaler. Jay, thank you for one of the most enlightening and insightful conversations I have ever had. It's been a real privilege.
David, thank you. I very much enjoyed it.
And thanks to all of you for listening to C-Suite Perspectives. I'm David Young, and this series has been brought to you by the Conference Board.
You have been listening to C-Suite Perspectives, a podcast by the Conference Board.